Greetings and welcome back to the channel, guys. Today I'm going to be showing you a Frontline Bruiser build, Greataxe Warhammer. I learned this build from a good friend, Crotha. You guys might know him. He's a great bruiser. He has a great video out explaining how a bruiser playstyle works. I learned a lot from him, and I'm glad I did because this is a lot of fun to play. It's very effective. Of course, like any bruiser, it works best if you have someone that heals you. If you have someone that keeps you alive, you can do a lot of work on a bruiser like this. So yeah, let's get into it. So looking at the stats right now, 200 constitution, 300 strength, super easy to do. This is a medium armor build, and this is one of the simplest splits you can do. You don't need more than 300 strength. We definitely want to get to the last node here, light and heavy attacks with melee weapon gain grit. That helps you stay in the fight. That helps you don't get staggered so much. And the 200 con here, increase the physical and elemental armor. Yeah, that's definitely something you want to have. But Constitution in general has a couple really good things. All health consumables, 20% stronger. You definitely want this. You want to make sure your potions are as strong as possible. This one here increases the max health by 10% of your physical armor. Of course, this goes a long way too. It's not really doing much in light armor, but starting with medium armor and going into heavy armor, this passive, of course, gives you a lot of nice things. This one's super important. The minus 10% critical damage taken, super important. This is basically 2 pieces of resilient gear that you get on top of your resilient gear. So super important to have. Don't miss out on this one. And then, like I said, this one increase to your physical and elemental armor. You definitely want this. And of course, here you get the increased damage to physical, light and heavy attacks. Extra slashing damage and strike damage, which is good because that's the 2 damage types that you're doing here. You're doing more stamina damage with a melee weapon if you have this one, which is really good. It helps you break the block of people a lot sooner. This one, extra damage on stun, slowed, and rooted enemies. That's definitely something you want to have because you're going to be smacking people with a hammer, and people are going to be stunned, slowed, and rooted all over the place. This one is definitely a nice one. Stamina regen faster while performing light and heavy attacks with a melee weapon. This actually is a really good sustain passive because you're going to be light attacking and heavy attacking a lot. So this is going to help you get your stamina up faster. The more you attack, the better your stamina regen is going to be. And this one, of course, we already talked about. It gives you grit on the light and heavy attacks. So super nice. Let's look at the weapon trees. So we have a nice little mix here, but we're of course going for a Bloodlust build. I think Bloodlust is the choice. You can, of course, go for a Mauler's Fury here. That's going to ultimately give you more damage. But I think the Bloodlust with it already gives you some damage, a little less than the Mauler's Fury. But being faster and being able to chase people down is a big deal. So I think Bloodlust is the way to go. Starting off with the Reap, you go all the way down here. We're using Maelstrom, you go all the way down, and then we're using Gravity Well. We're not going all the way down. Unyielding, we're not doing this one. Allies gain 10% fortify while standing. You could do this if you really wanted to. It's not super important on this build right now, but yeah, I'll leave that up to you. We're not taking the last passive here, but when it comes to the little passive notes here, we're definitely going with the critical gains. Because self-healing is a big deal on a bruiser build. You want to get as much self-healing as possible. This build's not super optimized for self-healing, but you can do that on your build, of course, if you have the means to do so, getting the right gear. But in the passive critical gains, of course, you gain when you critically hit, you heal yourself for 10% of the damage done, which is actually a nice amount of damage. If you're cleaving a lot of people and you're critting on them, you get a decent amount of healing back. This one, Keen Edge, gives you extra critical damage, which of course helps, you know. When you crit and you deal more damage with this passive, you're going to get more healing. So it all ties in. Next one, Feed. Greataxe attacks against foes below 30% health, heal you for 10% damage done. See, another lifesteal. So hitting low health targets, critting on them, getting the extra crit damage. That's how you stay alive. That's how you heal yourself with this build. The next one is Greed. Light attacks give your Greataxe, give you a stack of 5% damage, maximum 3 stacks. So you want to make sure you always light attacking before you're using a skill. If you want the maximum amount of damage on a target, make sure you at least light attack twice to get like a 10% extra damage stack on this. And if you can, 3 times for the full 15%, and then you hit him with whatever skill you want to hit him with. Death's Embrace, increase armor penetration of Greataxe attacks by 10% against foes below 50% health. So that's going to help you cut down people that are lower health, makes it a lot easier to kill them. Critical Condition, Greataxe attacks against foes below 30% have a 15% increased critical chance. That ties in with these ones here, you know, getting the extra crit damage on your crits, healing for your crits. Super nice. So Greataxe has a nice kit for crit damage and healing off of that crit damage. So yeah, keep attacking. Don't stop attacking. Like, it sounds weird, but on a Bruiser, you're safer just attacking instead of trying to get away, if that makes sense. Like I had situations where like I'm like running away, I'm low health, and then, you know, people are, you know, catching up to me, and I'm just turning around like, yeah, it's over anyway. And then I start cleaving, and I start recovering. All of a sudden I'm recovering, and I'm killing people, and I didn't die. So yeah, I know it's weird to just stay there and just keep attacking, but on a Bruiser, it's actually the better choice. And when it comes to the Mauler tree, you only have 2 passives here: the Enduring Strike and the Crowded Protection. The Enduring Strike, of course, gives you a grit to Greataxe heavy attacks. That in and of itself is not needed because we have the 300 strength, but it's the second part here that's important. Also grants 12% damage reduction while grit is active. So that means while you're swinging heavy attacks, or while you're swinging light attacks due to your 300 strength passive, the grit also applies to light attacks, you will have a 12% damage reduction. So you kind of see how this comes together, right? You keep attacking, you get the damage reduction, you get the healing. So that's how you stay in the fight as a Bruiser. And then the Crowded Protection here. While holding a Greataxe, gain 10% damage absorption when 3 or more foes are within 4 meters. So there again, you know, more tankiness. And you see, you know, you get more tanky, you get more tanky, you get more healing, you get more healing. It's amazing. It's a great kit. So yeah, that's the Greataxe kit. Let's look at the Warhammer kit. So for the Warhammer, we're going with Wrecking Ball, we're going with Shockwave, and we're going with Path of Destiny. Originally, I was using Armor Breaker instead of Path of Destiny. I kind of felt like in my situations, the Armor Breaker wasn't doing too much. It hits pretty hard. It's super nice, don't get me wrong. I decided to go with Path of Destiny for more range, better range capabilities, and since it's a Crowd Crusher ability, you have this passive here, the Prevailing Spirit, that gives you health when you hit people with a Crowd Crusher ability. So for me, that was just another self-heal that I wanted to put on, and I feel like it definitely helped me, because the Armor Breaker, it tends to miss a lot, and I was getting sick of just missing it on people all the time. So with the Path of Destiny, it's a lot easier to hit multiple people, of course, people that are far away. And yeah, so that's where we're using this one. You go all the way down on all of them, and passive wise is we definitely have the Epitome of Bonk. You get the extra armor penetration for Warhammer light and heavy attacks. That's definitely something you want. To free damage, why not? Hammer Time, gain in power on heavy attacks, increasing heavy attack damage by 20%. So that's super nice. Your heavy attacks can actually really smack people. So make sure you use them. There is, of course, this is a hammer light attack, right? You can use those. Then you have a fully charged hammer heavy attack. It's very slow, very telegraphed and slow. But there's also this one here. This one is the medium attack that you can do on a hammer. It's a lot faster than the fully charged heavy attack, and of course, This one will get all the benefits you get from heavy attacking, because there's a couple passives that apply to heavy attacks. So make sure you use the medium attacks. They're a lot faster. Practice them a little bit. The timing is, it's not super hard to get down, but you got to practice it definitely. So yeah, and that will definitely apply to the hammer time here. Hardened Steel adds grit to Warhammer heavy attacks. Like I said, we don't really need that, but you can gain the 12% damage reduction while grit is active. So again, you get that on top of that. So the second part is what's important. The first part, we already get that. But yeah, just exactly like the Greatsword, you get the damage reduction. So that's basically how you stay alive. You can just smack people and you get the damage reduction. It's for free. Contemption. Increase heavy attack damage by 15% against targets under 30% health. That's super nice. Finishing people off with a nice little heavy attack there. Extra damage. That's all you need. Power Through Pain. This one's a really good one. Deal 35% extra damage. That's a huge buff for 1 second after taking damage. So if people are hitting you the entire time, this is basically up at all times. This is going to refresh. So you're just slapping people and you're just doing 30%, 35% extra damage. And, you know, stuff like this, you get 15% here. You get the 10% penetration. You get the Empower here. And yeah, 35% there. You see how this all comes together? Your hammer heavies can hit super hard. You can smack people for, I think if someone's like debuffed and has like low health, you can easily smack them for like 5k with a hammer heavy attack. Super nice. And over here, we got the Outnumbered. This is a super important one. Increased damage absorption by 10%. You're surrounded by 2 or more enemies. It just makes you tanky. Make sure that you're taking less damage when it's actually needed. This one, I can do this all day. Reduce stamina consumption by 30% when blocking melee attacks. So blocking in New World is not really that big of a thing right now because a lot of weapons can't do it well. The hammer can do it, but you know, it's limited. It's still easy to break the block, but this definitely helps. If you see something coming and you just do a quick block on the hammer, you should definitely not try to hold block for too long. Try to block certain attacks, and this one will help you not break your block instantly when someone hits you. Concussive Impact. Deal 15% increased damage against targets affected by Warhammer debuffs. So your skills apply different debuffs. If they have one on, 15% extra damage. Super nice. Give me a second. My pizza is here. Pizza. The next one we already talked about. It's the Prevailing Spirit. Gain 35% of your damage dealt as health when you use a Crowd Crusher ability. So that's these two here, the Shockwave and the Path of Destiny. Technically, if you really wanted to, you could technically go for the Clear Out too. If you want to be, you know, if you want more self-healing, that would work fine. But for now, I think we're just gonna keep it the way it is, because this one here, as you can see, strike the ground with your hammer, dealing 130% weapon damage and knocking down your target. This is a really good one. It hits really hard. You get grit on this ability, which is super nice to have. But the important part is this one here. Unsuccessful hit, gain Fortify, granting 20% damage resistance for 7 seconds. So that's a pretty long Fortify buff and a pretty strong one too, with 20% just for smacking people with the hammer. So it's kind of why we're doing that one. I think this one has one too. Yeah, this one has a 10% Fortify for 4 seconds. So you could go with this one if you really wanted to. This one just gives you double the Fortify for almost double the time. It's a little bit better, but like I said, if you feel like Clear Out is more your style, you can go for this one, of course. And this one here expands the range of Wrecking Ball. So that's not super important. You can technically skip this and put that somewhere else if you wanted to. But yeah, that's the skills. Let's look at the gear. So I'm basically running almost completely like a complete PvP track gear setup. The way we're set up is we're in medium armor. We're not super optimized. We could push a little bit more armor here. It's not super important. I don't have all the pieces. That's why it's not optimized. for some reason. Like when I first started with the PvP track, I got really lucky, got really good pieces. And now, like for like 15 levels now, I've been getting shit or like double pieces that I already have. So it's not looking good. But yeah, this is all PvP gear. It basically all has like resilient on. Every single piece has resilient. There's a lot of shirking heals on. These all have shirking heals, which helps because you're going to be dodging, and I'm going to show you how to play this in a second. But yeah, you're going to be dodging a lot. Light attack dodge, light attack dodge. That's basically how you play that. We have refreshing ward on some pieces, refreshing evasion on this one. This one here has shirking fortification, which is super nice. Technically, I think it would be better to not have shirking heals. They help, don't get me wrong, but I think overall the shirking fortification would be better if you had it on all pieces. And I would definitely go for it if I had it. I just don't. That's the problem. And another thing that I want to add is if you have this kind of gear with freedom perks on it, I think freedom is definitely worth it. I personally don't have a lot of freedom pieces. I can't make it work right now. I hope I can hopefully soon get enough freedom pieces to have like a full setup. It makes a big difference because as a bruiser, you're a frontline bruiser. You're fighting a lot of people, and a lot of people have a lot of stuns. And if you can reduce that stun time and just get back up on your feet and start cleaving again, that's better. That's definitely better than sitting on the ground for too long because that stuff gets you killed. So yeah, if you have freedom, definitely use freedom. It's going to help you a lot on a build like this. Looking at the jewelry here, this is basically also complete a PvP track jewelry. Pretty nice stuff here on the earring. We got regenerating, refreshing toast, and refreshing. On the ring, we got hardy, keen awareness, and invigorated punishment. And on the champion's amulet, we got some stamina recovery, health, and shirking empower. So really, really good buffs. In terms of weapons, I'm using the hook. You can get that from the new expedition of the barnacles and black powder. What's his name? Admiral Black Powder, I think is his name. He drops that thing. So if you want that, just gotta do the expedition. It's a pretty good one. Crippling Reap, thwarting strikes, and killing empowered. Crippling Reap is really important on a build like this because a target below 50% is going to get slowed. So that really helps you catch up to them because you have a lot of runners. When people get low health, they just run away all the time. And yeah, that's going to help you catch up to them because as a bruiser, you're not the fastest build. You don't have any haste really. There's a little bit of haste you get, but it's not really that much. Of course, this in combination with your bloodlust is going to help you really catch up to people and make sure they don't run away. Thwarting strikes really nice, 12% additional damage while you have grit. You have a lot of grit, as you say, as I said. Light and heavy attacks give you grit, so when you're light and heavy attacking, you're just gaining 12% extra damage for free. It's that simple. And then keenly empowered, super nice. On critical, you gain 15% empower. Free damage. What do you want, right? For the hammer, we're using heft. This is not the best hammer. I don't really have a hammer that I want to use right now. I think the Blackguard's hammer would be the best for this, but this one's not bad. The only problem with this one is like vicious and keenly empowered is amazing. Don't get me wrong. The fractured rand, that's the one that I'm a little iffy about because it only works on blocking players when you break their block, and it happens, but it doesn't happen that much because blocking, like I explained earlier, is not really that big of a thing right now in New World because a lot of weapons can't do it well. So a lot of people don't even bother blocking. I think that's going to change next patch though with the Greatsword. A lot of people are going to run Greatsword, and Greatsword has excellent blocking capabilities. So with a weapon like this, you're probably going to have a lot more success against the Greatsword users next patch. So yeah, that's basically it. When it comes to consumables, I'm using the carrot cake here for my strength and constitution. We're using infused health and regen potions. And of course, don't forget your hearty meal, okay? Because hearty meal is just free regeneration, okay? You get a little bit of health back. So make use of that. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. I'm going to show you how to play this. So the way you want to play a build like this is, first of all, you have the bloodlust. You see the bloodlust come up? You want to make sure you always look at the target when you're chasing them. Don't look like next to them. Like if you're chasing a target, if this is my target, you don't look over here. You don't look over here. You don't run like this or like this. You look straight at them. You make sure that the bloodlust passive is proccing on them, and you get the extra speed. You get the extra damage. The way you want to approach them is, don't start with an ability unless you have to. On a target that's standing still, you definitely want to light attack first. Get your damage stacks up, and then once you have the damage stacks up, you only need 3 light attacks, by the way, for the damage stacks. If you go for a Mauler's Fury, you have to do more, but for the Bloodlust build, you only do 3 light attacks, and then you got the 3 times modifier. You can actually see that down here. Let me see. Well, it goes away. But yeah, you see that little modifier down there? It has like a little number up in the top. It says ×3. So you know that your 3 stacks are up, right? And then you can go in with the big boy damage. And the way you want to approach this, you want to attack twice, dodge roll, attack twice, dodge roll, attack twice. Also, always try to hit your target from behind if you can. If you can get around their back, hit them from the back. So if you're fighting a single person, or if you're fighting a group of people, try to position yourself in a way that allows you to hit the backstabs, because that's going to give you a lot more damage, of course. And when it comes to combos, don't just like willy-nilly throw stuff. Make sure you make use of your great combo potential that you have on the Greataxe. Like if you're throwing a gravity well, you have a couple seconds to deal some extra damage, and then you have the chance to cast the skill right as the gravity well explodes, right? And that way you can stack some damage. So the way you want to do is you want to throw this on a target, attack twice, and then, for example, go into the Maelstrom. That way you can stack a lot of damage. So what I just did is I threw the gravity well, right? I have 3 seconds, so I can do a light attack, another light attack, and then I go into my Maelstrom. The Maelstrom hits at exactly the same time as the gravity well explodes and deals damage. So we can stack the 2 damage sources from 2 skills in one go. That kills people. That's a lot of burst damage that people just usually can't deal with. And one other thing that you should make use of is gravity well actually has 2 damage sources. You can throw it out over a distance, of course, and then it's going to pull people in and it's going to explode. But a lot of people don't know that gravity well actually has an initial attack, but it's a short range attack. So if you're close enough to the target and you're casting the gravity well and you're actually aiming at the target, you're going to smack them with an extra attack. Because if you read this here, an upward swing that deals 99% weapon damage. This is the initial hit. An upward swing that deals 99% weapon damage. You want to see that upward swing? Here it is. See that? 1586 on the upward swing. You want to make sure you hit that as well. That's extra damage that you get. So make sure you use that. And of course, a thing that you need to keep in mind is use in my opinion, like from what I've seen, don't use the gravity well when you're being pressured a lot. That gets you killed. Make sure you throw the gravity well when you don't have a lot of people on you, or when you're approaching. That's the best way to do it, in my opinion, because the animation on the gravity well is a little too long, and it really can get you killed. It can get you killed. It takes you too long to get control of your character again, to be able to drink a potion. So don't use it if you have a lot of people on you and they're all hitting you at the same time. It's the wrong time to do that. Try to get away a little bit and then throw it. But yeah, like I said, you want to throw that thing and do that. That's a lot of extra damage. You can stack that all at once. If they run away, they're low health, you pull them in, boom. That's how you do it. With the hammer, I don't have too much to say outside of practice the fast heavy attacks. Fast heavy attacks are gonna benefit you a lot. And you know, a fully debuffed target, look at this, like 6k damage on the hammer. This is by the way, that's a fully charged one for extra damage. So you're doing a lot of damage with the hammer attacks. So the way I use the hammer is usually when I'm being jumped by people and I need a second to drink a potion or reposition myself. I usually just hit him with this one first. This one's a nice one. It is a crowd crusher ability, so it's going to heal you. So like when people jump on you and you take a lot of damage, you hit them with this thing to get some health back. They're all stunned. You can create some distance, maybe drink a potion if you really need it, right? And then when people come back, you can hit them with this one. This one has a much smaller AoE radius, so you gotta make sure to keep that in mind, so you're not wasting it really. Of course, you have this one. You can use that to set up a group to just initially hit them and kind of stagger them a little bit. You can use that to stagger someone who's chasing you, or you can use that to stagger someone who's running away from you, you know, because Path of Destiny can give you, you know, enough time to maybe catch up to a target. You have the Greataxe. So, you know, on a running target, what I would do is I would hit them with this one, then do this one, right? So you're hitting them with the Path of Destiny just to stagger them a little bit. You look at them, straight at them, get your Lust passive, get the extra speed, and then you pull them in with the Reap. So that's basically your catch mechanic when someone runs away from you. And outside of that, like I said, there's not too much to the hammer. The hammer is more of a defensive weapon, but in a lot of fights, you'll see that in the footage that I'll show you. I'm also going in when there's like a lot of people. You can just smack them with the hammer. Right, and you combine all that damage, and that's usually how you get a lot of kills. You know, people can't deal with that stacked burst damage. So yeah, but that's basically it. One last thing that I want to mention is hammer has great tracking. As you can see, the light attacks are amazing, but also the heavy attacks can track really well. The hammer has like one of the longest heavy attack trackings on targets, so make sure you use that whenever you need it. But yeah, that's basically it, guys. I hope you liked it. I hope you give this a try if you want to play a frontline bruiser. Like I said, having a healer definitely helps, but it does work without a healer. If you have life stealing on your weapon and leeching on the jewelry, that will definitely drastically increase your survivability solo. But yeah, give it a try. Let me know how it goes. I hope you have fun with this. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. And also check me out live on Twitch. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video, guys. Take it easy. Bye.